name's David Terry. I'm the CEO of Genesis Metal Corporation, and I'm very pleased to give you an overview of the company today. I will be making some forward-looking statements. Genesis is a member of the Discovery Group as well, as Jim just mentioned in the former presentation. We're operating in Quebec, which is one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world, and we're focused on advancing our Chevrier Gold project in the Chibougamau mining camp, which has a current 43-101 resource. It's got a large property package with potential for new discoveries. We're working on better defining some of the high-grade areas within the current deposits, and we're funded for up to 8,000 meters of drilling in 2020. I won't go through in detail the slides on the Discovery Group because Jim mentioned that, but as he said, it's an alliance of public companies focused on mineral exploration. Here's the group of companies with their focus exploration areas shown on this map. Highlights that I'm sure you've heard of include Genesis Metals and Great Bear Resources and Bluestone Resources. He already went through some of the significant transactions. We're very fortunate at Genesis to have a high caliber and extremely talented board of directors and management team with a long track record of making significant discoveries and adding shareholder value. I'm a geologist with more than actually 30 years experience and sit on the boards of a number of companies, including Great Bear Resources. Adrian Fleming, our chairman, is a very experienced geologist who's held a number of executive positions over the years and has been involved with a number of significant discoveries. And also point out Jeff Sundar, who is the executive VP of the company and has been involved with the company since it was formed. We've got a strong group of advisors related to the company, John Robbins and Jim Paterson, principals of the Discovery Group, as well as four very experienced and well-regarded exploration geologists who are listed on the slide here. Genesis has a market capitalization right now of about $10 million. We've got just under 44 million shares outstanding, and about 50% of the stock is held by a group of management advisors and institutional shareholders, including Eric Sprott, Commodity Capital, Gold 2000, and Delbrook Capital. We're focused in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt in Ontario and Quebec, which is well known for having produced over 170 million ounces of gold over the last century. You can see on the map here a number of the well-known mining camps within the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, as well as the location of our October Gold property on the Ontario side down here, and the Chevrier property up in the northeast part of the Quebec portion of the Greenstone Belt. Chevrier is located 35 kilometers southwest of the mining community of Chibougamau in Quebec, in an area with great mining infrastructure. We cover more than 15-kilometer extent of the Van Camp Deformation Zone. The property has a current mineral resource totaling just under 400,000 ounces of indicated resources at 1.45 grams per ton gold, and inferred resources of just under 300,000 ounces, averaging 1.33 grams per ton gold. The great infrastructure in this area really allows for a lot of our exploration work to be done at cost savings compared to comparable resource projects in other areas. We're able to work on the property on more or less a year-round basis. It's a large property covering more than 290 square kilometers. There's paved highways flanking the eastern side of the property and the northern part of the property, a good network of forestry roads that gives access throughout the property, power lines, rail lines, both crossing the property, and a regional airport just north of the property. You can see right here that has daily flights to Montreal. So great access into the area. Chibougamau, 35 kilometers up to the north of the deposit, a well-known mining community, and Chapé, which is a smaller town, is located just to the west of the property, where our field office and core logging facilities are located. So this is an area that is very accustomed to mineral exploration and development activities and is very supportive. You can see the Genesis property here again, Chevrier, located in the northern part of the map. There's 3 known mineral deposits on Chevrier, the main zone and east zone, which occur along the Fan Camp Deformation Zone, approximately 8 kilometers apart, where the current mineral resources are located. There's a 3rd zone called Chevrier South, which is located to the southwest of the main zone. It's contiguous, more or less. It has not had enough drilling to define a current mineral resource at this stage, and is partly covered by a shallow lake, but it has a similar footprint to the size of the main zone, and certainly is something that we plan on doing more work on. As you can see from this map, there's a considerable amount of work that has gone on in the surrounding area and continues to be very active on the exploration front. The IAMGOLD Toma Gold joint venture Monster Lake is immediately to the southwest along strike along the Fan Camp Deformation Zone. It's got a current resource of 433,000 ounces at 12 grams per ton gold. The past producing Joe Mann mine is down here to the south. It produced 1.2 million ounces at 8 grams and is now being explored by Doré Copper. And the Nelligan deposit is a recent discovery by IAMGOLD again with joint venture partner Vanstar. They released a maiden resource estimate on that project late last year, totaling just over 3 million ounces in a pit-constrained resource at just over 1 gram per ton. So this area has produced almost 7 million ounces of gold historically. The table here you can see is the current mineral resource that was released in early 2019. Broken down by open pit, underground, and zone. About 53% of the resource is pit constrained, and as you can see, the bulk of the ounces and the tons are located in the main zone. The main zone has been modeled for the purposes of that resource estimate as 5 parallel steeply dipping sheets that that cover a 1.2 kilometer strike extent and 200 meter width. When you look at the block model in plan view, as you see on the right-hand side of the slide here, you can see the magenta through blue colors identify areas within the deposit with higher than average grade in the blocks of greater than 2 grams per ton. And this highlight slide showing results from the 2017 drill program demonstrate that there's a number of intercepts that were drilled into the deposit with very strong width and grade characteristics. For example, 8.7 grams over 21 meters in hole 42, 5 grams over 8.5 meters in hole 41, and 4.5 grams over 12.5 meters in hole 46. So that is shown as well on this longitudinal section through one of the zones in the deposit, where you can see these hotter colors in this area here and this area here denote areas of significant grade. And we believe that these are actually high-grade chutes that have just been poorly defined by the past drilling. As you can see, most of the drill hole intercepts are above 200 meters depth on this, and these have not been the target of detailed drilling. So we have undertaken in earlier 2020 an exercise of 3D modeling on these areas with the purpose of putting together a program to better define and hopefully extend the size of these higher grade areas or chutes within the deposit. We actually started a drill program to execute that in late February. That was stopped in mid-March with the shutdown of all the non-essential activities by the Quebec government in mid-March. By that time, we'd been able to drill just over 2,000 meters of our planned 2,500 to 3,000 meter drill program. And we've got some of the core from that sampled and sent off to the lab. Some of it remains to be completed, and we've just found out that we're probably going to be able to get back and complete that work starting in mid-May sometime. So we're very pleased about that. The gold mineralization at Chevrier is hosted in typical orogenic style quartz veins. You see a couple of photographs here of what the mineralization looks like, hosted in highly strained and sericite altered volcanics and gabbroic rocks. The table that you see on the right-hand side of this slide, again, is just highlighting that high-grade potential and the high-grade results from certain areas within the main zone deposit, this time ranked by grade thickness calculations. Stepping outside of the mineralized areas on the Chevrier property, we carried out a property-wide compilation and review of all the existing data that was available on the property in 2019, and through that work identified a number of target areas that have good potential, as well as several areas that look like they're potentially parallel breaks or structures that have really been untested and parallel the main fan camp trend, which you see coming through the center of the property here. And in addition to that, we carried out a property-wide glacial till survey. A large majority of this property is actually covered by a thin veneer of glacial till, averaging approximately 2 meters in thickness. You can see the sample lines that were completed. They're spaced at 1.5 to 2 kilometers and an interval spacing of 250 to 500 meters. We collected 325 samples along those lines, orthogonal to the main ice flow direction, which is from northeast to southwest. And the results of those were evaluated using an automated gold grain counting system for a standardized sample size. We used 10 kilograms for the average or the standardized sample size, as well as the morphology of the recovered gold grain population. And a number of interesting targets came out of that work. And those are shown on this map by these black circles, which are mainly clustered in the northeastern part of the property. Interestingly, the two most significant targets, or the highest ranked targets, are these two here, which are immediately along strike from the East Zone deposit, which is located here, indicating that there's potential that this structure continues off to the east and is hosting gold mineralization. These targets need further work to be evaluated and to be moved up to the sort of stage where we would carry out trenching and or drilling. And so that work is planned to take place this summer, with the also carrying out some other types of exploration on them to try to refine the targets. But we're very excited about the development of new gold targets that are outside of the existing known areas on the property. So just to summarize, Chevrier, 2017, the company carried out a 10,000 meter drill program with a lot of success in results from the drilling program. 2019, early in the year, an updated 43101 resource estimate was released. A detailed technical review of all the work on the property to date was carried out, as well as the till survey that I described. So far in 2020, we've spent quite a bit of time modeling these high-grade domains within the main zone deposit. We've started a drill program to try to better define and test for expansions to those areas. We've also prioritized a number of other targets for drilling later in the year, and we have the plan to go and do the follow-up work necessary to work up the new targets that we've identified for trenching and drilling later in the year. I'll just say a few words about our other property, October Gold. It's a large property as well, more than 200 square kilometers. It's located in the Swayze Greenstone Belt along the western extension of the Cadillac Lauderdale Lake Break, which has produced over 60 million ounces of gold. Zooming in on the property scale, you can see that it's sort of equidistant between the Borden deposit, which Newmont put into production at the end of last year. They're trucking high-grade underground ore to their Timmins processing facility, and the Cote Lake IM Gold Sumitomo joint venture, which is a development stage project with a proven and probable reserve of 7.3 million ounces within a larger measured, indicated, and inferred resource. So we're right along the Redoubt Deformation Zone, the western extension of the Kirkland Lake Break. There's been limited work done to date on the property by Genesis, but initial geochemical surveys have identified a couple of interesting target areas, and sampling along the eastern boundary have returned these couple of high-grade results. So it's a very large property and an interesting address, and we're currently reviewing all of the data on it to date and putting together the appropriate steps for moving it forward. So that pretty well wraps it up. I'll just summarize the points that I've brought up about Genesis. We've got a proven management team with a strong track record of discovery. We're focused in the Abitibi, which is one of the best places to explore, not only in Canada, but in the whole world. We've got great infrastructure, a strong supportive community for exploration and mining. The property is a very large property. We've got an existing gold resource and a significant gold endowment. We're exploring for high-grade areas within the existing known mineralized zones, and we've got a number of new targets to test outside of that area. And we're financed for our work in 2020.